There are places in this world where silence speaks louder than headlines, and sometimes behind that silence lies a story so powerful it redefines everything we thought we knew. Burkina Faso, a small landlocked country tucked in the heart of West Africa. For decades, its name rarely made the evening news unless tragedy struck violence, poverty, instability. And yet something remarkable is happening here. A quiet revolution. One not waged with weapons or propaganda, but with purpose and a people's will to rise. In the West, we are often shown images of chaos from Africa. Dusty roads, soldiers with rifles, mothers holding hungry children, voices raised in despair. But what if I told you that in the same land where nearly 40% of the population lives below the poverty line, hope is being born, not imposed from outside, but forged within? What if I told you that a nation long called unstable has found its compass in the hands of a 36-year-old soldier, and that the people are sleeping on the streets to protect him? This is not a fable. It is not a miracle. It is Burkina Faso. And the man at the center of it all is Captain Ibrahim Traoré. In a world where presidents build palaces and empires, Traoré refuses his presidential salary. He lives like the people he leads. He drives no luxury convoys, gives no grand speeches of vanity. And in doing so, he has become more than a leader, he has become a symbol. Some call him a rebel, some whisper that he's dangerous. Others say he is the second coming of Thomas Sankara, the legendary African revolutionary who renamed this land Burkina Faso, the land of the upright people, before he was assassinated in 1987. And that comparison isn't made lightly. I went to see it for myself. To feel the soil, to hear the voices, to understand the heart of this movement. Because for our community, African Americans over 60, we have seen the cycle before. From the civil rights marches to the Black Power salutes, we have known hope, betrayal, and resistance. So today, I invite you on a journey into the unknown, into a West African nation rewriting its destiny, and perhaps, just perhaps, our own. I arrived in Ouagadougou with more questions than answers. The capital, often portrayed as dangerous or crumbling, greeted me not with fear, but with movement bikes weaving through the streets, women confidently riding motorcycles, children walking to school in pressed uniforms. The pulse of daily life beat steady. This wasn't the portrait of a failed state. It was the rhythm of a nation enduring. But the changes run deeper than surface peace. There's a quiet order here. CCTV cameras monitoring intersections, traffic rules enforced with dignity. And yes, if you break the law, you may find yourself cleaning the streets for a day, regardless of the color of your skin. A Chinese man was once seen sweeping the roadside shoulder to shoulder with locals. Equality here is not a slogan, it is practice. This, I would come to learn, is the Traore doctrine: fairness, humility, and reclamation. When Ibrahim Traoré assumed power in 2022, he was barely 34 years old, the youngest head of state in Africa. He came not with promises to please the West, but with a vow to protect his people. His first acts: expelling French troops, shutting down foreign media that distorted his country's image, reclaiming gold mines owned by foreign corporations. If we are to suffer, he once implied, let it be for our own cause, not someone else's profit. The impact profound. In the past, Burkina Faso received only a sliver, 10 to 20%, of its gold revenue. The rest was swallowed by foreign entities. But Traoré's government invested in its own mining machinery, took back control, and began exporting gold on their terms. Similar efforts were underway in cotton and other sectors. Russia, contrary to rumors, had not bought the country. Instead, they offered technical training and knowledge transfers at the Burkinabe government's request, not charity, not coercion, and the people. They responded not just with applause, but with action. At a roundabout near the presidential villa, men and women lie on the bare earth each night, not out of homelessness, but as a living barrier, volunteers sleeping outdoors to guard their president. We have no weapons, one man told me. But we have our voices. If danger comes, we will scream. We will call those with weapons to defend him, because he is ours. It is hard to describe what I felt in that moment. I remembered scenes from Selma, from Montgomery, from D.C. Those days when black folk in America gathered not out of comfort, but conviction. That spirit lives here too. Different soil, same soul. But this isn't only about resistance, it's about building. Traore's government has undertaken ambitious infrastructure work. Roads once left in disrepair are now paved. Those that remain dusty are being filled by young men, shovel in hand, patching potholes with pride. There are places we never imagined cars would go, one elder told me, but now even taxis reach there. And it's not just roads. An electric car company aptly named Let's Go has taken root in Ouagadougou. Its founder, a young man who returned from Turkey, credited Traore's regime for his renewed hope. The day we launched, he said we had 12 cars. 10,000 requests came in. The company now assembles vehicles locally part by part, reducing cost, creating jobs, and lowering emissions. The models named after local mountains and villages. Each one tells a story. We toured newly built apartments, fully furnished 4-bedroom units overlooking monuments. The price, $400,000. And every single one had been sold. An entire building gone. Is Airbnb active here? I asked. Yes, my guide smiled. One night can cost you $120. But it's worth it. Yet the heart of this movement lies not in real estate. It lies in people. At an agricultural training center, I met youth, many from conflict zones, learning to farm, some choosing to enlist in the army, others dreaming of their own ventures. We didn't choose this life, one said, but we're adapting, and we believe. Every month, 150 more join, eager to grow something new from the soil of their homeland. On university campuses, Wi-Fi is now freely available. Food once scarce or unaffordable is served with dignity. Student loans have been introduced. Life. 5 years ago, a young man told me was not like this. Now we have hope. He wasn't alone. I met students who once dreamed of fleeing to Europe. Now they want to stay. They lied to us, one woman said. They said we had nothing here. But we have everything Sunland people pride. That sun, by the way, shines 9 months a year. And the government is harnessing it, building solar panel factories outside the city. We want to buy what's made here, they told me. So the money stays with us. There are challenges. Of course there are. Loans are hard to secure, and interest rates remain high. Entrepreneurs speak of financial barriers, of bureaucracy, of systems still catching up with ambition. But one man said even the president sees this. He's pushing the banks to act. He listens. And he truly does. Citizens can voice concerns, and in some cases are brought into ministries to understand the problems firsthand. If you complain, they told me, he will not just explain, he will show you. This is not perfection. This is effort. And for a people long denied dignity, effort is enough for now. As I stood at the edge of a dusty street in Ouagadougou, watching children ride their bicycles home under the amber glow of sunset, I felt something stir deep within me. Not just admiration, not just curiosity, but recognition. We have seen this spirit before in Montgomery, in Watts, and Selma. The names change, the accents differ, but the heartbeat remains the same. In Burkina Faso, I found a people reclaiming their voice. Not through loud revolutions, but through quiet decisions. Building roads with bare hands, investing in homegrown businesses, forming human shields with nothing but loyalty and will. They are not waiting for permission. They are not asking for pity. They are moving forward. And at the center of it all is a young captain who walks softly but carries the weight of his people's hopes on his shoulders. He is not perfect, no leader is. But in a world where so many leaders seek applause before purpose, Traore stands apart. He does not speak like a politician. He acts like a servant. Perhaps that is why his people guard him, not with weapons, but with their presence. Perhaps that is why his name echoes through the streets not as command, but as commitment. For us watching from afar, especially those of us who remember the speeches of Malcolm, the marches of Martin, and the silence that followed their absence, this story matters. It reminds us that Black leadership, when rooted in integrity, can still move mountains. It reminds us that Africa is not a monolith of despair, but a continent of complex courage. And most of all, it reminds us that it is never too late for a people to rise. So the next time they show you another image of Africa crumbling, ask them to show you the streets of Ouagadougou. Show them the students who believe in their future. Show them the engineers assembling electric cars. Show them the mothers selling vegetables beside murals of Sankara and Traore. Show them the men sleeping on pavement so their president can dream safely. Because this is not just Burkina Faso's story. This is all of ours. To my brothers and sisters across the diaspora, those whose ancestors once stood in cotton fields chained and broken, and those who marched for freedom under fire hoses and hounds, know this: somewhere in West Africa, a people are standing upright, not because they were told to, but because they chose to. And in their choice, they remind us who we are. Thank you for walking this journey with me. If this story moved you, share it. Talk about it. Let it spark conversations across dinner tables, across generations. Because the future of Africa doesn't begin with charity. It begins with truth. And truth, my friends, can never be colonized.